Hey, it's your friend Choice CJ here, and this is my team builder for week 4 of the P4G Next Generation. Now, we are going to be going up against my good friend JohnnyGB in this battle. He is the coach of the Oregon Duckletts. And Johnny is someone who I've known for quite a while now, but actually haven't battled in a draft league. But I first got introduced to him like 2 years ago. I signed up to do some sort of casual analyst work for a league that he was in, like a non-upload league, like league with friends kind of thing, called the GPC. Not the same GPC that is like sort of like well-known and popular, but a different one. And so I first met him through that, and like I said, I would do a little analyst work. I had like a Word document that had power rankings, so like no video or anything. But it was fun to watch all the games and give notes to all of him and his friends, and it was, yeah, like I said, really fun. But since then, he got a capture card and was trying to, get hooked up with some leagues that were on YouTube, and I introduced him to my good buddy JSpecs, and lo and behold, now he actually has a very good good channel with a lot of growth. He's involved in a whole lot of leagues. He's been in a ton of minor leagues for different leagues. He's done a very good job with ICBA, which is a league that he helps to run, and has a lot of other cool content on his channel in addition to Pokemon Draft League stuff. He does Pokemon TCG, which is really neat if you want to check that out. He does some Duel Links from time to time, which I'm a big fan of. He does some Let's Plays on his channel. He's got a Mass Effect Let's Play. That's like one of my favorite trilogies of all time. He also did a Madden Let's Play in the fall with the Patriots. He's a big Patriots fan. I'm not really, but I am from the Boston area, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, so I could just go on and on about how impressive this guy's been in the last 12 to 18 months. But I'll let you guys, check him out, and you can learn for yourselves. And just one other small thing, he's also really good at golf. Like, I think sometime he was talking about having a sponsorship from Puma for doing golf, which is just out of this world. Like, that's just blows my mind. So my athletic days are kind of behind me, but I'm glad that he's able to live on and do really well with his golf game. So anyway, let's talk about his team before I ramble on any further. He has Garchomp, Tangrowth, Greninja, Lycanroc Dusk, Blaziken, Kecleon, Magearna, Silvally, Vikavolt, Audino, and Cofagrigus. So Magearna is the thing that jumps off the page, obviously. I think everybody and their mother who's been a part of Draft League for the last year or so knows that this thing is very threatening. But I think that I have the team in the typings to sort of make it less effective, because it kind of has too many coverage moves that it needs to run a very good setup set. Like, it needs the fairy coverage to hit the majority of my team. It needs electric coverage in order to hit the Volcanion. It needs fire coverage for Scizor. And it kind of needs like fighting coverage. Like, I guess fire coverage kind of covers Togedemaru, but fighting would be way better. I actually have an Akaberry on my Togedemaru. Spoilers. So I guess, yeah, he could run like a fairy, electric, and HP fire and be kind of okay, but I just don't think that that's going to be the best thing. I think like he's going to want the steel coverage or something. I think I have enough to handle Magearna is what I'm trying to say. What I'm more worried about is Garchomp, and I'm mostly expecting Scarf Chomp, which is kind of nice in a way. It makes it a little bit less threatening for my team, because I do have some switch-ins to like Scarf EQ and Scarf Outrage and things like that. If he's like an SD set and I've lost my Coco for some reason, then I'm in big trouble. But the reason I'm expecting Scarf Chomp is because it does outspeed Tapu Koko, it outspeeds a +1 Mence, it outspeeds Armaldo in the rain, it outspeeds, I think, Seismitoad in the rain. I guess it depends on what sort of spreads we both run. Outspeeds Belly Drum Chestnut. Shoutouts to Panther for figuring out a way to beat my Belly Drum Chestnut. But anyway, so that's why I think Scarf Chomp makes a ton of sense this week. So that thing could just be annoying if I don't preserve the right Pokemon. And then Other threats, like just kind of some of his fat stuff, like Tangrowth. Tangrowth, I'm going to have to, focus very hard on weakening that thing in order for my Tapu Koko, which is my win condition this week, to sweep. But I think that I've built a team that's going to allow me to do that. So anyway, let's just quickly go through the team. I've already spent a lot of time talking about this. I'm not exactly sure like how the layout's going to look yet, but I'm sure like maybe somewhere on the right side will be the team that Johnny has. And obviously you see my first mon here, which is Volcanion. We are running a modest set with Assault Vest, Steam Eruption, Fire Blast, Focus Blast, Flame Charge. Flame Charge is sort of just like a filler move. I don't think I really need anything better than that, because just with the 3 moves that I have, I hit pretty much everything on his team. Focus Blast, it's there just to hit Greninja a little harder, but it doesn't switch in that well on Steam Eruption or Fire Blast anyway. So this Pokemon, its job, it's to offensively pressure things like Tangrowth, like I've mentioned a few times now. But it's also a pretty good check to things like Magearna. It's decent versus Greninja. Potentially like a special Blaziken, it can do damage to those things. It doesn't care about what Kofag does to it. It can switch in on Audino if needed. But yeah, like it's an offensive check to Tangrowth, and then it's also it's a really good response to anything that's not Gigavolt Havoc Magearna. So if he is Gigavolt Havoc, I do have my Togedemaru at the back, which can switch into that. So that's the Volcanion set. Now let's go on to the second mon, and that is my Mega Scizor. Now we are running a Spadef Mega Scizor for Magearna specifically. It switches in pretty well on other stuff as well, like Tangrowth, his normal types, his Kofag. I guess Kofag you don't want to necessarily get wisped, but it can switch in kind of on Vikavolt. It can switch in on Lycanroc pretty well and threaten that thing with Bullet Punch. It's just a very annoying bulky mon this week. Number 1 for Magearna, but otherwise it's just hard for him to take down. And I don't think he can afford to bring Helmet Chomp, like I explained. I think he has to bring Scarf. So that's nice because he can't do a ton of damage to me with U-Turn. So we shall see how that goes. Next mon, we do have a Spadef Chestnut. And we are packing Synthesis Spikes, Toxic, Drain Punch. Drain Punch is just very nice versus the majority of his team. The only things that don't really, or the only thing that can kind of switch in on it are Kofag, of course, and the Vikavolt. Spike is really nice versus his team. He only has one Pokemon that is immune, and that is Vikavolt, if he chooses to bring it. But otherwise, everything is weakened by 1 layer of spikes. And so hopefully we can get that off at some point. This thing's number 1 job is to switch into Greninja. We are packing Yachi Berry, and that allows us to take like 30-35% from Greninja if it's packing Life Orb. And then we obviously can drink all that HP back with Drain Punch and knock it out. So that's very nice. It's also a good switch into things like Garchomp and Lycanroc. So that's very good for us. And yeah, that's the Chestnut set. Not too much more to explain about this. Next up, we have what I'm hoping could be our win condition. This is a Calm Mind Tapu Koko. This mon really relies on Tangrowth being removed. And like I said, I've got a good number of mons to help pressure that. Volcanion can whittle at it throughout the game. Scizor doesn't really care about anything that Tangrowth does. And another one of my members later on in this lineup will also pressure Tangrowth. So if I can do that, and then I can get to +1, barring any Scarfers, we should be in position to win. If he does have Scarf Garchomp like I'm expecting, we are rocking the Sugar Berry. So with Sugar Berry and the 92 HP EVs that we have, it allows us to take like 70-ish% from EQ if he's Scarf Jolly. And so as long as we can Calm Mind Roost and get to about that range of HP, we can survive and then take it out with D-Gleam pretty easily. The only other Scarfer that I guess I'm a little worried about is Blaziken. But if he brings Blaziken, it's possible that he'll just bring like a defensive set. Like I don't think Scarf Blaziken makes a lot of sense. It's checked extremely well by the likes of Pelipper and Salamence. And you know, just the fact that I have Rain to like hinder his fire type moves makes it sort of less viable. So maybe he'll bring like a defensive set because that's actually a cheeky way to deal with Scizor. So yeah, just otherwise it's really just Garchomp then that I'm worried about. And again, Tangrowth needs to be removed. If I get to like +6, then whatever. Tangrowth doesn't matter. But Tangrowth drinks Dazzling Gleams for days if I'm only at +1 or +2. So need to remove that. I originally had like a workup set with Brave Bird instead of Roost, but I thought that this would be a better move set because I can then Roost up and get to a range of health where I can survive Earthquake with my Shuca Berry like I've explained. 2 Mons left. Next is my Togedemaru, which I have teased so far. Miley Cyrus's little disciple here is making her debut, and Togedemaru is rocking a set of Nuzzle, Iron Head, U-Turn, and Wish. This set is like really built to deal with like Shift Gear, Magearna. Because we can go for a Nuzzle, paralyze it, and we can either go for Paraflinch shenanigans with Iron Head, which, you know, that's sometimes that's the strat that you have to pursue in order to win games. But alternatively, we can also then U-turn out of that and go into a Volcanion and threaten it with offensive fire moves. We also have Wish on this thing, just in case we want to pass Wishes into things like Volcanion or other members of our team. I think pretty much everything on our team has recovery this week, which is so nice. I love that I've got like so much offensive pressure on my team, but also so much recovery. So that's really nice. Otherwise, this thing also switches in well to the likes of Vikavolt, Tangrowth. I've got the Aqua Berry like for Hidden Power Fire Magearna, but it's also for Fire Fang Lycanroc. I can then go for a Nuzzle versus that thing and neuter it, and then go for super effective Iron Heads versus it, which is very nice. So I think Togedemaru is going to be pretty effective. It's fast enough to outspeed Blaziken, but then the rest of it goes into Spadef for dealing with Magearna, like I've explained. Last mon is my Black Hawk, the Salamence. We're running a relatively bulky Salamence this week. It's got 196 HP EVs. It's got enough speed for a Jolly Blaziken, and then it's got an Adamant Nature with like leftover attack EVs. And I think the attack EVs allowed me to take out Blaziken with EQ after a round of spikes, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. It's not particularly important. But obviously this thing switches in very well to Blaziken's dual stabs. We'll have to be weary of HP Ice, of course, but we'll see how that goes. If he wants to pivot in Tangrowth to this thing, obviously we can punish that with the Supersonic Sky Strike, but I think he'll like probably be smart enough to scout for that. We'll have to see how it goes. Otherwise, like that's kind of the main reason that this is here. It also gives me a ground immunity, so he can't spam Scarf Earthquake to win the game, potentially. So that's something that I was also very cognizant of. And also, like, I've got Earthquake to hit Magearna, which is nice. So just a nice bulky set, and hopefully it can break through some walls on his team. So yeah, that's the squad. Really looking forward to this match. I think we're going to play very soon. He's actually DM'd me right now. Oh, he's running late. Okay, well, we'll battle eventually. I'm not in too big of a hurry. I do have to travel starting tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow is like more than a week ago from the time that you guys are watching this, but I digress. Please make sure you tune into this battle, which is going to be taking place tomorrow, sometime around 4 p.m., 5 p.m. EST. That's what I like to do. And make sure you give Johnny a look. He has a lot of really cool stuff on his channel, and I think you will enjoy it. And make sure you check out to my channel, too, for all sorts of other Pokemon and gaming content. So, until the next time, I will see you guys later.